rode Atlanta this weekend. Last weekend we were in Charlotte, and we kind of treated Charlotte as a test race, kind of. I mean, it's all about seat time, getting used to this car. The car was brand new to us and me last weekend, so we really accomplished our mission. We were able to complete every practice session, qualifying, and we ran the 100-mile race. It takes a lot more people to run these things, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Audi, you put gas in it, check the oil,
Right.
You're good. My goal coming into this weekend, there's 17 TA entries. My goal was to finish in the top 10. We've got weather issues to deal with. A huge storm moved through last night. There's standing water everywhere on the outside of the track. It's drying, but you know, I think we should have a first practice session here shortly. Rather than showing up here cold, never driven the car, and you were thrust into a pro Trans Am race, you know, it's kind of like being thrown to the wolves. So I think we've got a little head start on it. I was talking with Chris Dyson this morning, and he says, you've got to take little bites out of this car, improve just a little bit. If you take too big of a swing at it, the car is going to bite you. So he says that's what we do, and he's won the last 3 races in a row. I like to listen to people like that, people who know. We broke 3rd gear, so you know, you can't go out there and have a shredded 3rd gear. We went out in the first session, and you know, we lost 3rd gear. We ran 4 laps, lost 3rd gear, and it was because I wasn't shifting aggressively enough. The sequential box likes a nice, good, hard tug to pull it in gear, and I didn't do that, and I broke a dog ring that helps everything engage. We got to get it out of there and either put the spare back in or fix what we got. I'm thinking I'm being nice to it by just being.
No, you have to be really positive with a sequential.
All right. Bang. No problem.
Yeah.
You want bang, you get bang. Now we're going into practice session number 2, and everybody's ready to go. And you know, we still had our old set of tires, and you know, and ran an okay time, but we're really pretty far off the pace, and that can be demoralizing for a driver. We need 3 seconds, like now. You know, it was hitting the rev limiter down the straightaway for quite a while. You're really covering, I don't know how many football fields a second there, but quite a bit. When you sit back and look at the big picture, and you got to stick with your plan and gradually build up to it. Everybody in the field's either won a championship or won 2 or 3 or 4, so you know, they've got a lot of seat time, let alone seasons under their belt. So, but I'm impatient. I want it now. So, you know, I want it now. The next morning, Saturday morning, we went out and bang, you know, we improved by 2.5 seconds. You know, it was a compromised session, and it's sprinkling, and the track was wet when it first went green, so we waited in the pit lane for these other guys to go dry it out, and it quit raining, so we went out, tippy-toed around, got our tires warm, but, you know, we ran 2 seconds quicker than we went yesterday. You know, if we're going to go out there and run a bunch of 130s, we don't need to be doing that.
The risk is too high in one of these things. There's no support. There's no TC, there's no ABS, there's no,
Yeah.
you know, what's the point?
Once the fast guys were running 123s, then we pretty much knew that the track was there. So yeah, that was good. It was well worth it.
So yeah, just wait for what we call the sugar laps as well. You gotta be patient, but again, just get your cap here, no problem. Just as before. On your P10. You're right behind Tinkle and ahead of them on 2.
I told you there's a 23 there. This thing's going to have a little push at the beginning, full of fuel. It's going to burn off, and what you just had is what you're going to have at the end.
Yeah, baby. I love it. You know, we've been improving every single session, and not by a little bit, big chunks. So, you know, we just went a second and a half faster there in the 23s now. So good progress. Awesome. Yeah, in qualifying, I mean, I was really stoked, especially when I looked down when I crossed start finish and I saw the time, you know, a 1:23.8. You know, we improved a second and a half. I mean, just like that within 2 laps. So it's pretty stoked with that. Yeah. Oof. It's going to be the survival of the fittest, really. You gotta survive to, you know, place well here. So that's my goal, is to avoid the trouble, put in a solid race, try to be as consistent as possible, and make the fewest amount of mistakes. Doug Peterson gave me some good tips in the beginning, and that was, you know, if you take a tight corner in second gear, take it in third in the rain. And so I did that. He says, let the car roll through the corners. Don't give it any brake. Don't give it any throttle. It'll have the grip through the corner. You're the one that will make it lose control. So I took that to heart, especially going into one. You know, I went pretty wide at times, but, you know, the car held. So you just can't do any sudden moves in the rain. You can't give it too much throttle and too much brake and all that. So I just kind of, you know, took my time and brought it home. You know, this is my first time I ever ran one of these cars in the rain, and they're diabolical to drive in the dry, so add a little moisture to it and it gets insane. This weekend is really 2 halves. The first half was in the dry and our progress that we made through qualifying. You know, it's a shame we couldn't race, you know, in the dry, but it's Mother Nature and it's springtime, so what are you going to do? And the second half was the race in the rain and the challenge that throws in front of you. And, you know, and the question was, you know, am I going to be one of those guys that does something stupid and stuffs it in the wall, or am I going to be the guy that brings it home? I feel pretty good with the car. You know, now that I've had a full range of conditions, you know, I feel pretty good. You know, my goal moving forward is to get to the mid-pack. I got to get to the mid-pack. You know, Ernie and Boris and those guys and Chris Dyson and those guys, you know, they're in a different zip code right now for me. But I'd like to be racing and battling for, you know, 4th, 5th, 6th, somewhere in there. Well, it was a rain race, what can I say? You know, it was slippery and almost went off, I don't know, 100 times, but kept it together. You know, it wasn't very fast, but you know, it's better than crashing. So we brought it home, I guess 11. I was shooting for a top 10, but I guess I won the Masters class. That's what I get for being old.
How'd you feel?
Slippery. I mean, these guys go by me and I try to hang with them and I'm like, how are they doing it? I'm sideways and it's just like, I don't know, just a little more time.